Welcome to Intoxicated, the Sip and Chat Show. I am your host, J.L. Adams, and on this episode, Guyanese media sensation Natasha Smith shares her journey as a news reporter, a full-time mom, and her plans to start her own NGO in the future.
Because of my own experience, and I know that a lot of Indigenous youth come to Georgetown, and there's a lot that they have to get accustomed to. There are lots of things that they have to become aware of in order not to be exploited and so on.
These topics and more as we sit, sip, and chat with Natasha Smith here on Intoxicated, the Sip and Chat Show.
Hi, this is Natasha Smith. You're tuned into Intoxicated, the Sip and Chat Show. Remember to drink responsibly.
Welcome, Natasha. Welcome to Intoxicated, the Sip and Chat
Thanks
Show.
for having me.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm great.
So it's compulsory before we get into any questions or answers or whatever for us to take a shot at the beginning of the show, because alcohol stimulates conversation, and if you don't drink, you can die from thirst. We want nobody dying from thirst on the show. So what would you like to try, or what would you like to have?
I'll try the Banks.
The Banks beer?
I'll try this.
Okay. So let's take a shot of the rum cream, the Eldorado rum cream. All right.
Thank you.
One second. We got to cheers to this interview. This is actually my first time having the rum cream, by the way. So, cheers. Smooth?
Yeah.
Good. So, Natasha, for those who may not know where you're from, could you give us a brief rundown of where you were born and where you grew up and stuff like that?
Okay. I was born in a remote village in Region 2 called Wakapau.
Wakapau.
It's an Amerindian community settlement.
Okay.
But I didn't grow up there. I spent some years as a child in the Pomeroon, and then on the Essequibo coast in a village named Henrietta.
Henrietta. Yes. So, Wakapau, Pomeroon, Henrietta. What are some of some of your favorite childhood memories coming from those three places that you can think of off the top?
I forgot to mention that I spent some part of my early childhood in Georgetown too.
In Georgetown too. All right, then what are some of your favorite childhood memories coming from Georgetown?
It wasn't much to remember. Basically, it wasn't much to remember. I was just looking at a lot of television, because in Essequibo we didn't have television at the time.
Okay.
You had to have a VCR or something if you wanted to look at a movie or so. So television and I know it's a bit early in the interview, but it kind of gave me the inspiration to become what I am today, a journalist, because of looking at news and those.
Which we'll get to later. Yeah. So who did you grow up with while you was basically tongue hopping?
Tongue hopping, aunts, some friends of my mom.
Okay.
And, but at the age of like 6, 7, I went back to Essequibo, and so that's where I had to learn to swim and so on. Okay,
who taught you to swim?
My mom.
Your mom. I understood that you also grew up with your stepfather. You spent some time with your stepdad.
Yeah.
But looking back on when I was growing up, I grew up with my stepfather, and he's basically the reason for who I am today. He has influenced me in so many ways. What are some of the good things that you would have taken from growing up with your stepdad?
Well, my stepdad is amazing. I think.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate. I'm in news and I read so many bad things about stepfather.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm fortunate to have grown up with a very awesome stepdad, irreplaceable.
Okay.
Influenced me in a lot of good ways. He always had confidence in me and still does. He still have confidence. That's support cool. me in my singing. I sing sometimes. And since I was young, he tried to nurture me in all of the right ways. Okay. And now he's a grandfather to my 2 kids.
Okay.
And he's also a positive role model to them as well.
So shout out to your stepfather, man. Big
yeah.
Yeah,
his name is Reginald Manny.
Hey, Reginald.
And I also have brothers and sisters, and he's their real father, their biological father. And he's what I would call an exemplary father figure that I think a lot of young men can use some of
his traits.
His traits.
And learn from it.
Providing for your family, being loving to your wife, and those kind of things.
Something that this generation is totally missing and know nothing of. Like so what were some of the schools you would have attended growing up, like primary, secondary, and stuff like that?
I briefly went to Wakapo Primary School, probably like for a term or less, if I remember correctly, because I was and then from primary 1, I started full-time school at Friendship Primary School in Pomeroon. And then after that, I went to Abramsville Secondary on the Gold Coast. And that's where I completed my secondary education. Okay.
I also heard that you, just like many other kids here in Georgetown, basically had to leave school and in the afternoon go out and sell and, try to get a job to help with, taking care of the family and stuff. What was that like being 50 years old?
In my case, it wasn't about taking care of the family, or I just wanted my own pocket money.
Oh, so you wasn't forced. It wasn't nothing that was forced upon you. It was being independent.
Yes.
You wanted that new sneakers or that new shoes or that
I wanted, I must
whatever.
So when my neighbor asked me to sell, they had a rum shop basically. In Henrietta there. And they opened a snack part that sells ice cream and snacks and so on.
I don't mean to cut you, but while we're talking, you can you can drink. We don't have to kill our throats. Yeah. So you were saying?
Yeah. So the lady asked me if I wanted to sell them her snack. So I said, sure, why not? I have nothing to do, and I was never a school child who would lime after school or stuff like that. So as soon as when I reached home at 3.
Okay, so it wasn't like you had to go in the market and stuff like that. It was right next door.
Right next door.
Okay, that was safe. So tell us what were some of like the negative stuff that you would have encountered from growing up in these communities. Like you said, you spent some time in Pomeroon. We know it's not really as civilized as people would say community. What are some of the negative stuff that you would have?
Negative stuff in Pomeroon.
Yeah. Basically, whether it's schooling.
It depends on your perspective and how you're looking at it and what you're accustomed to.
Okay.
I think that Pomeroon is a very peaceful place, and families, they're self-sufficient.
Okay.
People don't have jobs there, so you have to go to the farm and you have to provide. For example, if you have a target of $40,000 a month, this is the amount of coconut you have to pick. And you take it to the market to make copra or something. So you know that this is your target, this is what maintain your family for the week. Okay. And that is what you do. So it is not a struggle.
Okay, it's not a struggle.
It is not a struggle.
It's not what the media pretends.
No. Unless when you live in these places, for example, Pomeroon, they have the situations might be different in different parts of the country. But for Pomeroon, people there are very self-sufficient. They have, and I keep saying this, the government or whatever administration or whatever, they do not provide water, electricity, roads in Pomeroon. I could speak for Pomeroon because I'm from there. People have their own generators. They know how to harvest rainwater. They know when the drought is on. They go up the creek in Wakapo or Akawini Creek and they get water, fresh water.
Okay.
And they have their own mode of transportation, the boat.
Okay.
So we're not really dependent on government. Mostly we would just depend on them to excavate the canals and so on so that people could get irrigation for their farmlands, and that is most important.
And you're basically saying the same thing that was happening while you was there at a young age is still happening.
Yeah,
right
but
now?
People have they've gone away from farming and so on. They're most the head of the households would basically go into the interior now and do gold mining and stuff like that.
Okay, so what secondary school did you went to?
Abramsville Secondary.
Abrams, and what did you do after that?
After I finished school, I started working at the hotel as a receptionist, but I did everything.
Okay.
I would sell in the bar. I would wait tables and so on.
Nice. I also heard that you were at ATI, Esquimalt Technical Institute for a couple of months.
Yeah, that was way later, like 5 or 6 years after.
What did you do there?
Computer science.
Computer science. Okay, so I think it's time for our next shot. Which one would you like to try here?
A next shot.
Yeah, next shot. You have had the...
Keep this away from me, please.
Okay. What about this? This is a rum punch. This is dope.
Punch.
So, yeah. I've actually had this. This is yours. Milk.
Thank you.
And rum. So.
The milk give it a nice
yeah.
kind of vibe.
Oops. Cheers.
Cheers.
What do you think about that? It's strong.
Let me just chase it down with some of this.
So you didn't mention earlier that you actually worked at a hotel. What were some of the other jobs that you would have had after working at a hotel and stuff like that?
Lots of stuff. I waitressing. I worked in a restaurant.
Okay.
Assist in the kitchen, waitressing, bit of a cashier, babysitting, maid cleaning houses and stuff like that. Yeah. And
how did the NCN gig?
I also taught for 5 weeks. I was a teacher.
Oh, you was a teacher also? What did you taught?
I taught grade 5, so you basically teach
everything, maths. Were you one of those strict teachers?
No, my kids loved me. I didn't need them.
Believe in corporal punishment and stuff like that?
No.
So walk us through that moment when you got the call from NCN to become a news reporter there. What was happening? How did it happen?
Well, after TI, this is how it happened. After TI, I really wanted, I didn't know what I was going to do. Okay. Because I was in Essequibo, so I thought it's far-fetched that I would actually get a job as a reporter there. Because I did interview at RCA one time. Okay. They didn't take me on, of course. and maybe that was a good thing. So after TI, I was just there singing karaoke. Okay. Yeah, I was singing karaoke and winning prize money.
Something I definitely can do.
So that sustained me for a bit. And then I heard the ad and I actually waited until the last day for the deadline. Wow. And I took a transportation and come from Essequibo, drop in my application and went back before the end of the day. So later on they called and they called me to do an IQ test.
IQ test?
Yeah.
Okay.
An IQ test. So I came and that was kind of funny because I remember I had to travel. Yeah. So I wore sneakers, a jeans, and a t-shirt, and my hair in two pony, and a little haversack. I presume me coming to town to do this IQ because I thought it would be like a classroom setting. Okay. And you just do the test and you go your way. Yeah. Now I come, the reception, the HR assistant said, "Okay, enter that room." Now when I entered the room, if you see these people dressed up in the suits and the stockings and they're looking so. So I am looking, these people turn around and look at me, and I'm like, am I in the right place? Anyway, it's an IQ test, it's not an interview. Okay. So I sat down and did my test and left. And then they told me to come back tomorrow for the interview. So, well, I was kind of in a spot because I didn't walk with clothes and so on. And because I was planning to go back to Essequibo. Yeah. Yeah, so one of my good friends, she lent me some clothes to do the interview the next day. Yeah, and I must shout out.
That's an exclusive.
I must shout out to Keenan Pearson.
Keenan Pearson? Yeah. Shout out Keenan.
You know Quinton Pearson.
I know Quinton.
That's his sister. Okay. But we grew up in Essequibo together. She went to Abramsville School. Even Quinton himself went to Abramsville. Okay. So she was my friend back there. So I called her and that's how. So I did the interview and then I went back. Never heard from them. Got through with the job in Manawan Region 1 as a teacher. And so I was there teaching happily, loving my kids. And then I got the phone call. And
then what happened? You had to move from Escape to Georgetown. How did that work out?
So I had to, when I got the phone call, it was a Monday. And boats only come out from there every Monday. So I had to wait 1 week. Whoa. So I told the HR manager that, would you wait 1 week for me? Because I cannot turn out tomorrow. So she did. And it was kind of difficult for me to leave those kids, to be honest, because I know that there is so much potential in them. And I really wanted to harness that and to bring out the best in them. And they're very bright kids, but I'm not sure what became of them.
So when you got the job,
it was a sad week for me.
It was a sad week
because I knew I was leaving, but they didn't know I was leaving. Wow. So Friday I told them, and that was very sad.
So what did you first did when you got the job at NCN? What were some of your responsibilities?
Well, when I came out and I started the job, I was a trainee reporter because, of course, I'm green, I'm fresh. I don't know anything.
I hope you wasn't wearing your sneakers and your jeans.
No. I had a haversack.
You had a haversack.
So I didn't think it was strange, but everybody else think it was strange. I should have my purse and my. But I just like I like comfort. I like to be comfortable, and I don't like to be uncomfortable. Life is too short to be uncomfortable.
Definitely.
How I think. So then gradually I became accustomed to how things are here. Yeah. Things are different.
So what were some of the stuff you did there while you was working there? Because you're no longer there.
I had to understudy a few people.
Okay.
And I did that, and I really think I catch on very quickly. And in like about 3 months or 4 months, I was already reading news on TV.
Oh, okay.
The news break at 12:30. My boss told me to try out, and from the first time he said, okay, keep doing it. And then I graduated later on to the 6 o'clock news.
So how many years did you work at NCN for?
9.
So you worked there for 9 years, and then you decided to call it a quit after you gave birth to your last son.
My second
What was the reason behind that?
I don't think I was growing at NCN. Like I was just there, just doing the daily routine. At the time, I was a producer, a television producer. I produced features and so on. And it was boring, and I think I needed to do something else to revive myself. And when I left NCN, I actually was going through a separation.
Okay.
And I needed a new environment. I needed a fresh start. I changed my hair, I changed my job, stuff like that. So I started at DPI. So
it's no secret that it's a lot tougher for women that works in the media industry here in Guyana. What are some of the challenges you yourself would have faced being in the media over the past few years that you have been there?
I would say my biggest challenge, and speaking for me, but I know it speaks for a lot of people, is being able to access the resources that you need in the field. Like, to enable you to be the best that you can be.
Okay.
Resources are always limited, funding, equipment, and so on, and opportunities to study.
All right, so let's go to our next shot. Which one would you like to try now?
The same.
What they say? Okay, this is actually dope. I've had this a couple of times. I've actually had this just last night. I had an entire bottle. A small bottle, that is. The Moscato wine. This reminds me so much of America. Okay. It's dope. Okay. Cheers. How was that? Nice and mild, right?
Yeah.
You know what a lot of people don't know about me? I myself was actually a media personnel. I worked at DPI. That was Gina.
I think I saw you there a few times.
Really? Oh yeah, because you was right in the same compound with the crazy hair and stuff like that. How was it working?
Looking like the weekend.
Like not like the weekend, looking like during the week. So you're actually a DPI now, right?
Yeah.
And how was it at DPI? That transition from NCN to DPI. How was that?
It was great. It was great. It was like night and day difference.
Really?
Yeah.
So what are some of your responsibilities now at DPI?
Well, I started off as a communications officer, gathering news, doing interviews and stuff like that.
I was a CO.
Yeah. And while presenting at the same time. But then they decided that I should just focus on presenting. Yeah.
Because you have the look straight, of course, definitely.
And that. So, and then I edit.
Okay, you're an editor. It's no secret that it's a full-time job working in the media. Sometimes you would have to work on holidays, your kids' birthdays. How do you balance, working in media and being a full-time mom?
It's hard to balance.
It's hard to balance. How do you do it?
It's very hard to balance. And it takes a lot of support from your family and friends and your spouse, if you have one. But I think the support is what helped me with my kids, my mother, my sisters, and so on. Everybody would chip in and support in terms of helping me taking care of them. The other day, my child had chicken pox.
Yeah, I actually saw you posted it.
So the doctor actually recommended, because it was no sleep for me throughout the night. So I don't think I would have been able to function at work anyway.
Okay.
So took some time off from work. And sometimes you have to do that. You have to decide what is important. A career is always there. And but then your kids, I think my kids are more important.
So what type of mom are you? Are you a strict mom, or you're a mom that gives your kids your own? Because you have 2 boys, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what type of mom are you?
I think I'm a regular mom. I think I'm a mom like my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. I can be strict sometimes, but I'm still gonna allow kids to be kids.
Definitely.
Yeah. And they're all learning. Sometimes I look at them and they're so new. Like there's so much they need to know.
They need to know, right?
They're like empty vessels. You just have to
yeah.
keep filling them with good stuff.
You actually touched on this topic briefly about you being a karaoke singer, but what a lot of people don't know about you is that you're not just a karaoke singer, you're a professional karaoke singer. I'm a karaoke singer, somebody who just take the mic and sing, but this is something that you actually do as a outside gig from your current job. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that, and where did that love for singing came from?
Well, I started singing I discovered I could sing at 15, sometime around then, but I didn't take it seriously. Mm-hmm. And I used to sell CDs in a CD shop by the music house at Henrietta there.
Okay.
And my friend owns the business. And then we started doing karaoke at Zenon and Purple Heart and so on. And karaoke was a big thing at one point in Essequibo, where the competitions would be shown live on television, because the same guy who owns the Zenon, he owns RCA, so they would show it live. As a way of promoting their business, I guess. So
you was already a celebrity before moving on to George?
A long time. And then pageantry, that's another thing. I entered Miss Essequibo and I became popular because
Did you
that.
win?
No, I got first runner-up, but they said I should have won.
They said you should have won.
Yeah, they behave bad in the place.
Wow. So what made you didn't win?
I was short.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
I aced my final question and everything. I won it all again.
That makes a lot.
But that's the excuse the judges gave when people started questioning.
And I also heard that you're planning to start an NGO. Could you tell us a little bit about that and what it's going to be about and stuff like that?
Yeah. Basically, I know because of my own experience, and I know that a lot of indigenous youth come to Georgetown, and there's a lot that they have to get accustomed to. There are lots of things that they have to become aware of in order not to be exploited and so on. Yeah. So I want to start a youth mentorship program for them, so that if they have challenges, or we could conduct weekend trainings and so on with them, get experts to help them in social stuff that they have going on. But not only in Georgetown. We're actually going to go to these far-flung communities, and I want to start in my birth community, if I should say that. Wakapo. Yeah, I'm going to start there. I have gathered about 8 young people like myself. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm soon to be 35, but I still consider myself a youth.
You are a youth.
So we're just gonna, and these are people from different fields, from the medical field, fitness and nutrition, stuff like that. So I have various.
Okay, so do you have anybody else on board as of now, or is this something that you?
No, I have them.
You have people on board, is it?
Okay,
so that's good. So I think it's time for another shot before we get to the close-in. Which one would you like to try? Can I pick?
You pick.
This is actually my favorite rum, the coconut rum. This is actually my favorite. Everybody who knows me knows I love the coconut rum, so I ain't gonna give you too much.
Okay. I like coconut water. I can't say Pomeroon has a lot of coconut.
Yeah. And it's, coconut is a big, big product right now across the world. They're making all type of things with coconut. So that would be something to think about since you're from Pomeroon.
They have businesses being established and so on.
Okay. Cheers to coconut.
That's strong.
Not bad.
That's strong.
Mm-hmm. So, what's next for Natasha Smith? What do you have your eyes on other than the NGO and stuff? Are you planning anything, whether it's out of the media, in the media, whether it's writing, whether it's more singing, maybe a book, maybe a show, something, what else?
Like something?
I'm just...
Okay, since you hinted at it, of course.
Because I'm a writer, actually. And I probably just said a book because I'm a writer.
Yeah, I really want to get that book off the ground. Because as much as I told you through this interview, there's a lot I didn't say. And I think that there's a lot about my life that people could learn from. and valuable lessons, life lessons. And it can be entertaining as well.
Okay. So it's going to be an entertaining book.
Yeah. I'm down. So there's a lot that I think could be in a book about me.
Okay. That's so.
In terms of my career, I don't plan to work for people forever. Of course, nobody plans that.
Okay.
So I want to start my own TV show.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of show? What is it going to be about?
Entertainment.
Entertainment.
Of course. But it's basically giving local talent an opportunity to have a platform to showcase whatever they have. Because I think that in order for talent or for the entertainment industry to grow in Ghana, there must be a platform for these people.
Definitely.
And from working in the media, I know the struggle that they face in terms of getting their product out there and to be seen and to be heard and so on. We have a lot of new videographers, writers, actors, singers. So if I could provide a platform for them, I think that would be great. I always see my job as service to community. I'm a Baha'i, and I think one of our motto is service to mankind is service to God. So when you can do something for people, it's basically a good thing.
Definitely. And before we go, what is one of the biggest misinterpretation that people would have about Natasha Smith?
Me?
What would you say?
I don't know. I get this a lot. People often think I'm stuck up, maybe because I look so serious. So when they meet me in person, they're like, "Oh, you're so simple. You're so easy to talk to. You look nothing like that. You look so serious when we see you." And then that's it. They think I'm stuck up. I think so. That needs to change. If you're looking, just change.
She's not stuck up.
And I can talk to anybody and get along with anybody, and I respect people, just as long as they respect me.
So before we go, you want to let your fans and the viewers know where they can find you if they're interested in getting to know more about Natasha?
Oh, getting to know more about Natasha. A lot of people know that I am on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 5,000 friends and about 3,000 something followers.
Instagram? You have Instagram?
I am on Instagram.
Okay. So you can.
Yes.
On Instagram.
January Aurelia.
Okay.
That's my name. Kind of like an alias. I didn't want to really mention that on there. But so you can find me there.
So you came, did you have a good time?
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, you drank some stuff that you never drink before.
Yeah.
And
I hope I can make it home.
You definitely will make it home, trust me. Remember to drink responsibly. And before we go, would you like to nominate some of your friends? Is there anybody you would want to have this intoxicated experience? Maybe they can come and showcase.
What kind of people are you looking for?
It doesn't matter. Anybody that you think, you would like to have this intoxicated experience that can basically be an influence to people just like how you're an influence to many.
Oh, I think Melly. You should get
Melly. Oh, we actually gonna be shooting her later on tonight.
That's nice. I met Melly in Jam Zone. We were in Miss Jam Zone pageant together many years ago.
You was in Miss Jam Zone pageant also.
I was in Miss Ghana Universe pageant too.
Wow.
I was around.
Yeah, you did some pageantry.
Yeah, I was around.
So Melly is dope. We're gonna be shooting hers.
There are other people, but I can't really think off my head, and I didn't.
What about somebody from your job?
Somebody from my job.
The person who does your makeup, she did an awesome job.
Malaika? Yeah, you should have Malaika.
I love Malaika. You're gonna give me Malaika's contact, and I'll definitely reach out to Malaika. So thank you for coming. It was a pleasure.
No problem. It was nice being here.
Thank you. Thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned. What up, it's your boy Jay Adams, aka The Intoxicator. And if you like the video just now saw and want to see more of it, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be up to date with what's happening here on this channel. Okay? And if you want to see some uncut, behind the scenes footage of what's happening here on Intoxicated, the Super Chat Show, make sure to click the Patreon link below. So remember to support the thing, to be up to date with these things. I'm out.